I'm Lance Morgan. I'm the CEO of Ho-Chunk Inc., a company owned by the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska. I'm a lifelong resident of Nebraska. Grew up in Omaha, graduated Omaha North High School, joined the Army Reserves, paid for college here at the University of Nebraska, went to law school after that. I support casino gaming at horse tracks because it makes a lot of sense. You know, obviously there's a lot of money, a lot of jobs that leave the state, but there also is a sort of a common sense approach to it, that why not keep it here? Why not have that activity? And why not give Nebraskans one more choice? And in the end, this is about choice. This isn't about making anybody do anything. The people who've prevented and stopped casino gaming over the last 25 years here in Nebraska have made that choice for Nebraskans. And I think we're ready to make that choice for ourselves. You know, the company I run farms 5,000 acres here in Nebraska, and it's tough to make money. And anything you do to add cost to it, including increasing the property taxes, especially increasing the property taxes, makes it harder to get by. And this state is an agricultural state. We're dependent upon our farmers, we're dependent upon our ranchers, and if they go down, then our state's really going to struggle. Inflation's a real thing, and you know, the costs go up every year, you know, both to pay your employees and to pay for services in this state and to pay for the schools. So it's the cost is going to be there. You've got to get the revenue from somewhere, and we keep drilling into the same hole to get the revenue. And so you've got to create another economic resource. And I think that adding the casino gaming to the horse tracks will create another pool of money that will both offset some of the increases and hopefully also lead to some actual reductions. And so what I'm hoping is that property tax relief becomes a real thing instead of something that just politicians just say. Every state who touches Nebraska has some form of casino gambling. And so every state considers Nebraska a target demographic for their business. If we could just keep some of that money home, some of that taxes home, and some of those jobs and economic activity here, we're going to improve. Since the Council Bluffs casinos have opened, they've brought in $11 billion in revenue, billion. And about $9 billion of that has come right from Nebraska. And to be honest, it makes me a little bit angry. I think that it's obvious to everybody involved that they are there to exploit Nebraska, to take money from Nebraska, to take jobs from Nebraska. And so I think it's crystal clear that if you could move those gaming operations into Nebraska, we would get the tax dollars, we would get the jobs, we would get the economic activities. But the companies themselves are owned by large national, international conglomerates. And so a big portion of the economic activity is the profits. That goes somewhere else. Here, we're talking about Nebraska entities investing in Nebraska, so the jobs, the taxes, and the profits all stay in Nebraska. We keep all the money in Nebraska, and that's the big difference between us and what you're seeing in other states. I think there's going to be a number of impacts. The first thing is we're going to have 4,600 new jobs in this state, and you know there's some companies leaving soon, and they're taking some jobs. So 4,600 is a big number, and those are direct jobs. There's also going to be a lot of indirect jobs that are going to be created not by the people who work with the gaming operations, the vendors, the horse trainers, the horse breeders, the farmers who support these operations. There's going to be an economic ripple effect throughout the entire state. Then when you throw in the additional tax dollars generated that are now currently going to Iowa and other surrounding states, you're going to have an even bigger boost to the economy. Now, obviously, the most of the gaming operation is going to be in population centers. That's just the nature of it. But if our casinos are going to be at horse tracks, and with horses, that industry is basically on life support in Nebraska. If we can bring back the racing industry, which we plan on doing, I mean, a lot of the money will go towards that. It's also going to boost, those horses need to be fed, they need to be bred, they need to be trained. And so I think it's going to boost up the rural economy also. I think if you add casinos in Nebraska, it's not going to change behavior. It's just going to save gas money because you don't have to drive to Iowa. I don't think there's a single Nebraskan who's more than an hour or two from some gaming operations. There are 3 ballot initiatives that we're trying to get signed. The first one is really the big one. We've got to change Nebraska's constitution. This has been done before when we did the state lottery. And all we're trying to do is allow casino gambling at the horse tracks. That's the first one. The other 2 are statutory. changes. And the first one is relates to creating a regulatory structure, and the other one creates a tax structure. When it comes to tax structure, what we've proposed is a 20% tax. And rather than all the money just going up to the state, we're also proposing that 25% of that tax go to the local city, county governments. Everybody in Nebraska is going to benefit from this, whether you're part of it or not, whether you support it or not. Having increased economic activity, having increased jobs, having increased construction, having increased tax dollars are going to benefit everybody across the board. And so I think really this is a win-win situation.